I'm the Reverend Samaya Oakley, and I use she, her pronouns. And as a newcomer to the land of, we're going to see if I can do it, or the city of Calgary, I'm purposefully taking time to getting to know its history. Now, this is a land that has been inhabited by First Peoples for at least 13,000 years. The First Peoples were nomadic and moved across the land with the seasons, following the animals that they hunted and the plants that they harvested. They were people who lived and breathed, hunted and fished, married, had children, grew old and died, all on this land that we presently occupy. Though it's difficult to estimate, the population on the prairies, and I know some of you here think that Calgary is not on the prairies, was thought to be about 20,000 to 50,000 people by around 1640. So I implore you to learn along with me about the systemic attempts to assimilate the indigenous peoples through strategic colonial policies. These policies have resulted in many losses, including land and strong connections with language, culture, and traditional ways. And they manifest today in intergenerational trauma that require consideration. We are located on Treaty 7 land, the traditional territory of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, the Kinaki, Bearspaw, and the Goodstoney First Nations of the Stoney Nakoda, and the home of the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. How'd I do with my pronunciations today? I worked on it all week. And that's part and parcel of doing this work, isn't it? We are all treaty people, and it's important that we uphold and acknowledge that Treaty 7, which was signed in 1877. This treaty was entered into as a collaboration between settlers and indigenous people. So now, my dear ones, please take a moment, turn, and greet your neighbors and bid them welcome into this space. Hi!
You made it.
You finally made it. I'm so glad you're
I
here.
was away last weekend.
My dear ones, it is so much fun to see each other. My dear ones, I love that energy and that enthusiasm, and please, after the service, keep it throughout the service, although this is a contemplative service, and then bring it into Wickenden where we can share and talk with each other. So now, let us take a moment and breathe and settle ourselves into this space with the prelude that Jane has so lovingly prepared for us.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Welburn, a longtime member here, and this morning Reverend Samaya will be lighting the chalice. And as we light the chalice on this true autumn day, with its still breath that makes life and nature harmonize.
Good morning. My name is Peter Campbell. I use the pronouns he, him. I am filling in today for our incomparable Sheila McMaster, the Director of Religious Education here at Calgary Unitarians. It's so good to see you all from this side of the podium. Today's theme, where do you find renewal in the turning of the seasons towards autumn? One way is to release your inner artist as the trees turn vibrant hues. Join me by looking at nature's canvas today, its splotches of red, orange, and yellow. Let's see what adventures we can find in today's story. The Leaf Man by Lois Ehlert. Leaf Man used to live near me in a pile of leaves. But yesterday, the wind blew Leaf Man away. He left no travel plans. Well, the last time I saw him, he was headed east, past the chickens and towards the marsh, over the ducks and the geese. A leaf man's gotta go where the wind blows. He blew over the field of pumpkins, past the winter squash, and flew over the turkey, past the potatoes, the carrots, and cabbages lined in rows. Then he blew out of sight. Is he drifting west above the orchards or over the prairie meadows and past the spotted cows? Well, a leaf man's gotta go where the wind blows, don't you know? Maybe leaf man's gliding on a lake breeze or flying along the river, following butterflies going south. Well, a leaf man's gotta go where the wind blows. He might even be traveling north above leaves that look like him, or flying over mountains with a flock of birds. When Leaf Man looks down on earth, is he lonesome for his home? This I do not know, where a leaf man will land, for only the wind truly knows. So listen for the rustle in the leaves. And hey, maybe you'll find a leaf man waiting to go home with you. Thank you. So today, the children and youth are creating their very own leaf people, just like our leaf man. Together, they'll see where the inspiration of fall leads them. This week's challenge is to appreciate the changes, noticing how you feel in this time of transition. And connecting to the natural world, please try to find the hidden joy in the shapes of the clouds and the falling snow of the leaves. Look for the art all around you, and perhaps create some of your own, just like our children and youth today. I'd like to leaf you with a quote. Oh! I had to sneak it in there. I just had to. It was right there, and I took it. As Delia Owens said, autumn leaves don't fall. They fly. They take their time and wander on this, their only chance to soar. Now, please join me as we sing the children and youth downstairs.
I'm going to sing this once for us, and then I invite us to sing it with me. Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy. One more time. Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy.
sing it one more time.
Really?
Sure. There's still children leaving.
Circles of love, dance all around you. Circles of love, peace and joy.
Can you feel it? The rhythmic wheel of the seasons of life is just getting ready to turn. The air, particularly this morning, has that distinct feel of autumn in it. For us here on Turtle Island, our senses are telling us that the heat and energy of summer is coming to an end. Yes, we are coming to the autumn equinox, which is a time that we take together to gather and honor the harvests. You can see it in the grocery stores with all the gourds and the pumpkins and everything around us. For those of us on a spiritual path or a path of meaning making, it's a time for reflection and review of honoring the harvests of effort and the intentions in our lives, intentions that were set a half turn of the wheel. Not only is it a time for reflection and letting go, paradoxically, it's also a time of renewal. For with every ending, there is a beginning, a renewal time. And we here at Calgary Unitarians are honoring the autumn equinox with a contemplative Vespers-like service. We'll have about 3 stanzas for you to relax into this morning. Each stanza starts with a small reflection, a poem, a piece of music, and silence. Feel free to sing along as Jane and our choir leaders lead us through the chants that we'll be singing, or you can just sink into it and allow your spirit to be carried and held by the music. Oh, and we'll, in that space of emptiness that we'll reach, we'll take a time to honor the joys and the sorrows that we carry within our hearts. And so here now, let us begin. Let us bring the energy of fall and all that means that happens at this time of year with a reflection by Kathy Welburn. Many of us who have lived on a farm and depended upon Mother Earth for her survival can relate.
Yes, I just wanted to speak for all you farm people out there. How many farm boys and girls have we got? This has always been, I was on a farm that didn't even have electricity or anything. So when fall came, it was so exciting because you'd worked so hard all summer. Now you had to bring all this stuff in, get the crop in, have the haying, dig up the garden, be boiling all these beets. That wasn't my favorite. And canning. My mom had all these mason jars out, bubbling away. Everything had to be perfectly sterile. We had to get everything gathered in, put in the root cellar. Then you could finally sigh and a little bit of relief. People even took time off of school. It was very common for in farm communities that you didn't really come right away to school at the beginning of September, especially the boys, but girls too. And so, but this was a time when you finally got it in, you could heave a beautiful sigh of relief and excitement that you were set. You're set for the winter.
When my cows no longer care to go root to their pasture far or near, but stand close in the last warm sun. Around the place I'll know that fall is here. And when the corn goes into dent, across the fields like old men appear, and we pick it and store it all away. Around the place I'll know that fall is here. When the hay and straw are in the barn, stacked to the roof, tier on tier, smelling like a summer come and gone. Around the place I'll know that fall is here. Around the place I'll know that fall is here. When the evenings come early and the mornings are clear, over all the fields I worked this year. Around the place I'll know that fall is here. Such a busy time of year. Gathering the crops, getting the school supplies ready, adjusting to new schedules. This is also a time of withering crops, increased darkness as the nights lengthen, as the wheel turns towards autumn. What in your life do you need to let go of? What no longer serves you or gets in your way? What needs to wither?
Everything falls away. Sooner or later, everything falls away. You, the work you've done, your successes, large and small, your failures too. Those moments when you were light alongside the times when you became one with night. The friends, the people you loved, who loved you too. Those who might have wished you ill. None of this is forever. All of it is soon to go, or going, or is long gone. Everything falls away, except the thread you followed, unknowing, all along. The thread that strings together all you've been and done. The thread you didn't know you were tracking until, toward the end, you see the thread is what stays as everything else falls away. Follow that thread as far as you can, and you'll find that it does not end, but weaves into the unimaginable vastness of life. Your life was never the solo turn you thought it was. It was always part of the great weave of nature and humanity. An immensity we come to know only as we follow our own small threads to the place where they merge with the boundless whole. Each of our threads runs its course, then joins in life together. This magnificent tapestry, this masterpiece in which we live forever. Parker Palmer.
One that we're going to sing together, and believe it or not, it's a 4-part round. So how this is going to work, I'm going to invite up, please, I understand I have 3 brave volunteers from the choir, being Mitch and Liz and Brandes. We're going to sing this round through once all together and then sing it in 4 parts. So part 1 is the left side of the room. You're going to sing with me. Yes, Keith, that's you too. Part 2 is along the left center aisle. You're going to sing with Mitch. Part 3 is Liz singing with the right side of the aisle, and part 4 with our friend Brandes on the right. Some of you are happy. Yes, great. Okay. And if you're singing along at home, sing part 1 with me. That'd be great. But first, we sing all together. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. Part 1 with me. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. Repeat that line. I rest in this love. I rest in this love. I rest in this love.
think one of the most sacred and holy things is to hear children in the middle of sacred time. Let us take a moment and tend to the sacred bonds that bind our lives together. In our tradition, we recognize ourselves as part of an interdependent web of existence, affirming the life of one of us affects us all. In these moments, we seek to widen our caring ministry by sharing our joys and sorrows, our concerns and milestones in our own lives and in the life of this congregation. Now, the flowers that grace our chalice table this morning are both a joy and a sorrow. Jen Allure has provided them in celebration today. And her sorrow is that her beloved neighbor Barb passed away. If you would like to bring flowers in honor of someone or something out in Wickenden, along with, well. And as we did last week, in the spirit of a seated meditation or prayer, we will be invited shortly to name aloud or in silence to hold their names in our hearts, those people, those places, and those concerns that are with you today. We will start with those things in our lives that are breaking our hearts. We light this candle in honor of resting on our hearts, either named aloud or spoken, either named aloud or kept within the silence of our hearts. And now, let us lift up silently or out loud those things in our lives that are causing our hearts to burst filled with joy. And we light this candle all of those unspoken in our midst. And I light a final candle of concern for the people of Libya. Mariana Louise taught me well. If you remember last week, I was having trouble getting them lit. Last week, a torrential storm, Daniel, washed away entire districts last Sunday night after 2 dams collapsed. Thousands are reported to have died, and thousands are missing. We grieve with the people of Libya as they work to pick up the pieces of their lives amid such devastation. May all that has been spoken aloud and shared in this space strengthen and renew the bonds of this beloved community. As I mentioned earlier, the turn of the wheel towards fall signals a time to clear away our internal space, to allow space and room for what is yet to come. And just as we take time now to harvest and plant next spring, we take time now to allow for our greater visions to grow by allowing the empty spaces and silence to become, to listen to what is trying to emerge from within us. It is a time of preparation to take our in-breath at the center of the self, or the sacred within us all.
Born again. Let's be clear about this. It isn't the same. It in it or pushing away from the brink. The only way to be born again is to die. The phoenix doesn't just go up in a blaze of glory. It feels the fire lick up and sizzle every feather until each quill becomes a column of flame carried straight to the core. Whatever the legend of rebirth, the ground, hanging on the cross or the tree, don't skip over the story. If you burn, you have to die. Then, how are we rise again into new life? The earth, the hero, the God, you and I. How does any of us find our way back from the valley of the shadow? The same way we die. Walk into the light.
To heal you, to hold you, I am sending you light. To hold you in love, I am sending you. To hold you, I am sending you light. To hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within, and I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. And so I want you to know that I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry, for I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
I'm sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I invite you now to turn to someone close to you, your neighbor, and think about what is withering, what is dying, what is being reborn. And just share that with your partner. When you hear the ting shaws again, I'll call you back.
Oh, we turned off my. there is a purpose to church. The purpose of church is to encourage all who gather here to grow to be more generous in spirit and in action. This is the of all the world's faith traditions, to bring human beings closer to the divine acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, and an offering that will support this self-supporting congregation and its many ministries. The gifts of this congregation will be most gratefully received, and guests. This morning we are grateful for your presence here, so please feel free to let the basket pass you by. And if you're looking for ways to contribute your time, energy, and talent to our beloved community, I mentioned before, there's sign-up sheets in Wigandon. Take a look and see if there's something there that appeals to you. It takes every single one of us to create the magic that is Calgary Unitarians. This month, half of our offering will be shared with the Urban Society for Aboriginal Youth, a not-for-profit organization that provides programming for Indigenous youth in Calgary. Now, here's something really unique about them, is that they co-create services that meet the direct needs of Indigenous youth with youth, partners, and elders. 92% of Indigenous youth in their programs feel more connected to their culture. And that's a huge accomplishment when 69% of Indigenous youth are in the child welfare system and detached from their families. There are so many things to be grateful for this morning, for beautiful music like we just heard, for our gifts freely given. May we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation as tools to empower our mission.
So, my dear ones, as you go out into your week, I invite you to let softness fill your days in the season of autumn light. I invite you to feel the gentle joy of life returning once again to know its roots. Take time this week to laugh with and be with those who are in our lives and come into our life for just a brief moment, like going through the checkout line at the grocery store. Share it all, expecting nothing in return. This great turning of the wheel of life invites each one of us to go deep into the well of our being. That well is our source of inspiration, creativity, connection. For when we live our lives with the love that comes from that deep place within us, it ripples out into the lives of those we love, into this beloved community. And together we thrive.
Be held by silence, held by gentleness, rocked by the nurture of community, we can also be held by groove. And so, going into our final song this morning, if it pleases you, I invite you to clap along as we go, and otherwise to sit and enjoy. This will be new for some of us, familiar to others as we can. Jane, what do you mean by groove? We keep by the ones who circle round attendees' fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. Time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and let us be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in. One more time from the top. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round attendees' fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
I'll invite you all to join us for coffee after the service. And now we will be extinguishing the chalice. But as we extinguish the chalice, we will listen this week for those two unmistakable sounds that autumn is here. The sound of the rustle of dry leaves being blown down the street, or the honking of Canada geese migrating across the sky.